Okay, we'll finish these two.
Okay, Eric Lovestrand.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I can hardly see you behind all that bling up there.
I don't want you to see.
They did a great job, those kids. That's a lot of effort on all the parents' parts. I know, I've gone through that with my kids. I do not have anything in addition to my written report unless you have questions for anything on there.
Anybody have anything for Eric? Well,
Thank you, I
sir.
appreciate it.
Miss Ann Birchwell, County Library.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
You have my written report. You have my written report, but I brought some friends with me. As you see at the very top of my report, this summer we've been having a Get Ready, Get Set, Read program at both branches of the library, which is the theme. Both branches are decorated with racing flags and starting your engines. It began June 23rd and 24th with the 50s theme to kick off the week. The kids learned about what reading and life was like back in the 50s and games that they played. They learned how to play hopscotch, hula hoop, pin the hair on Elvis. The boys wore Elvis hair and some of the girls wore poodle skirts. Every week there's been a different activity for children ages 2 to 7 and 8 to 12. They've explored the Guinness Book of Records. They've learned about the Olympic Games. They've even played some games from around the world. This past week we did carnival games, which was a lot of fun for the kids. The grand finale will be Animal Olympics this Saturday at both branches of the library at 11 o'clock at the East Point branch and 1 o'clock at the Carabel branch. There will be live animal demonstrations with a kangaroo, a fruit bat, and a rainbow boa. So we're excited about that. But I thought you might like to hear from the children themselves what they did this summer and about their reading. And Bailey Allen has been here before. That's Bailey. I don't know if I can bring it down that long. Bailey, can you come over here? Come on over here. Bailey, what did you like about summer reading?
Well, we ate snacks, we played games, and we read stories.
You read stories. How many books have you read this summer so far, would you say?
A lot.
A lot. A lot. So that was your favorite, what was your favorite week?
The week when we did Elvis.
You did Elvis. Yeah, okay. How about Josh? Want to see something? Josh is her brother. I don't know if you can see her. See her. Yeah.
I love the stories and the fun and eating snacks and doing art class and singing the stories and
That was fun.
yeah.
He has grown up so fast.
And this is Nathaniel Cabrera, and they're a family that we see in the library all the time. He's been coming to my, what do you like best about summer reading?
When we did the carnival.
The carnival, what did you like best about it?
When we got to use the Nerf guns.
All right, have you been reading a lot this summer? Pretty good. All right. Well, good. We've got Zachary. Raise it up for you. Zachary is also in our music program, so he's been learning the acoustic guitar. So he's been enjoying that too. He's my guitar student. So, but you're also in summer reading.
Yeah,
What do you like best?
when we did the Elvis.
Did Elvis? He got to wear an Elvis wig. What else? All right. Have you been reading a lot?
Yeah.
You have. And Mrs. Cabrera, would you like to say something?
I just want to say that we are so thankful for the librarian, Miss Ann. She does such a great job for us. I'm a homeschool mom, so she is amazing for helping us with the reading and everything that she does for us. It's amazing. Thank you.
And that's really it for my report. I did want to also let you know that the Rock by the Sea group has donated 6 new guitars. We appreciate that, Mr. Watson and your group. For the summer reading, we wish to thank the Rock by the Sea group, the Falaco group, St. George Island Civic Club, and of course you, for all the support you give the library. That's it.
Thank you, Miss Sam.
Thank you.
Miss Ginger Seeger, Sheriff Department.
What she was called.
Co-
We all know each other by our maiden name.
She's the Seeger to me.
Good morning. Boy, that's going to be hard to follow up with all of that fun, exciting, wonderful news that we've heard this morning. But unfortunately, I'm here with not so happy news. But I did make you aware a couple of weeks ago about the inmate medical situation, where we were. And I brought you copies if you want to look. I'll give these to Michael and he can hand those off to you. This is our year-to-date expenditures for the inmate medical. We have expended, well, actually, this is going to be a net expenditure because I've backed out what we have been reimbursed from the insurance company and what we recouped from inmate medical and meals. And we're over by $76,178. So after we've applied all of the credits, we have expended $166,178. That's what we paid. That's what we're over, the $76,000. I have quite a few medical bills remaining to be paid, not counting what's outstanding to be mailed the rest of the year. I had emailed Michael and Linda, and they both suggested I come this morning. Linda wants to pay these rather than the county dispersing the money to us, for the county to just pay that, and that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. I just hate that it's creating extra workload for her. But I just want to find out really what the commissioners want to do from this point forth. Do you want me to continue to sending the bills on maybe a monthly basis to the clerk's office, or do y'all want to disperse it? It doesn't matter to me. I just know that it's an issue that's got to be addressed, and for the rest of the budget year, because we don't have the money to pay this.
What you want, Michael?
I was
Think
gonna
it's
say-
best to send it?
Or since the finance office will be here tomorrow morning when the sheriff presents his budget, that's probably the best time when everybody's in the room, we can all talk about it, just to make sure, we get everybody's opinion, we're on the same page. If that's okay with you.
That's fine. Linda told me to bring the bills to her, so
Yeah.
I did bring the bills to give to her. I don't see her this morning, so I guess I can stop over, or I can wait till tomorrow. It's the pleasure of the board.
Do you need a motion this morning to pay these bills, and then tomorrow we could discuss how we go forward with it? Is that okay?
That's fine. I just mostly need direction on, from this point forth as well, how to proceed. So if you want to be mulling that over until tomorrow and giving us an answer tomorrow, I will be having, I'm sure, some of the doctors and hospitals calling very soon wanting payment. So I will let them know what's going on and keep them updated with the status. Now, what you're looking at, I do want to remind the board that those are the payments after our savings. Everything you see on there, with the exception of like more medical, because that's medical supplies, but all of the doctors, the hospitals, 95% of those are negotiated down. There are a handful that refuse to negotiate, but all of the others negotiate. Of course, I've already told you Weems, South EMS, all of those local entities, they give us a 50% right off the top. So anything you see for them, you can double that, and that would tell you what the original bill would be. In addition, Prime Health Services, they're a third-party negotiator for us. They negotiate with some of the areas that I can't, and sometimes it's 30%, sometimes it's 20%, sometimes it's 60%. It just depends on the individual that they're dealing with. So I know this is a large number, but you can only imagine how much larger that would be if we were not negotiating these claims.
So I talked to finance, they do ask that you make a motion this morning to pay these bills, and we can discuss tomorrow morning how we go forth, Since I'm sure when the sheriff does his budget, inmate medical will be a discussion tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, and we were hoping to have all of that done before the budget just to make it an easier process, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So
Yeah.
we're probably going to be on this subject a while, I'm sure, tomorrow.
And this is the same number you send in the email, correct?
Well, no, because some I'm sending to Prime, which is our third-party negotiator, to try and negotiate the prices down.
Okay,
So it's probably different from what's in that email.
okay, just update. If you're the moment I
I'll go
across
to
the street,
Linda's when
you
I
go to
leave
Linda
here.
there.
I'm going to go
Yes.
to Linda's and whatever she wants to do at that point.
Junior, where's the Southland EMS from?
That's the emergency room,
Okay, that's the emergency room.
and that's a 50%
Who's the
savings.
more medical?
That's where we get like the gloves, the latex gloves they have to wear, the
Okay.
lancets, the supplies.
And Prime Health?
Prime Health is our third-party negotiator. They will pay the bill and then turn around and bill us.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then, what we making a motion, how much we making a motion to pay today? Exactly.
I don't have the amount. I have all of the invoices, but I don't have the amount.
That's not the whole 76.
No, we've already paid that. That's what we're over. We've overpaid. We've overspent our budget on the medical by $76,000. All of this is on top of what you're looking at. This is in addition to. I'm not asking for anything on that. We are going to do everything in our power to absorb that the best way we can. I can't make any promises on that, but we are trying to cut in other areas to absorb that. That's yet to be
So
seen.
what would we be paying this morning? Do we know?
I've got the bills here if you want to look at them. And I apologize, I just found out like yesterday afternoon that I was going to be coming over this morning. So I really haven't had a lot of time to get everything together. So if y'all just, want to give me a set amount and say, hey, this is what we'll pay up to, then I can go through and give Linda that amount. But I have,
Why don't you walk over and let Linda figure them up real fast?
I can
and
do
walk back
that.
over here, and we'll
Okay.
still be going on to see what we got,
I was
okay?
going to recommend that,
Yeah,
Chairman, yes.
just walk over and let Linda figure them up, and just walk back, and I'll call you back
okay,
up.
all right, I'll be back
Okay.
shortly. Thank you.
Okay.
We're gonna take a 5-minute recess before we go into TDC, and we'll be right back.
We've already out of the bag, don't we?
Good. Porter County Canary back in section, TDC.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I'm going to take a couple of things out of order, if that's all right with you. And I wanted to say that the TDC joins with you in support of the Dixie League, and we did, as Kim mentioned earlier, allocate some funds to help them in their trip to South Carolina. Is that right?
South Carolina?
So,
Myrtle Beach.
We're all excited.
North Myrtle Beach.
North Myrtle Beach.
We're all excited about it, so, great job. Commissioners, so that we get this done, we have a little video for you today. Part of our, we've got a grant from Visit Florida this year to do several, and the first one is, this is the one we've got today to show you. This just came out last week, and this is focused on sort of a children's video, and you'll get the gist of it, but it does a couple of things. It introduces our animated character, Oyster Man, which is in the parades, and you'll see at events and things, and then what it is it instructs kids on how to go to the beach and what to do and what to look out for and all that sort of thing. So I'm not going to say much more about it. I'll let you watch it and see what you think. Michael's a lot better at this than I am, so. There we go. We want to thank our local actors for.
And I have to say something. I'm still trying to figure out who Oyster Man is. And then nobody will tell me who Oyster Man is. I think that's the cutest little character myself.
We're going
The one
to,
that dressed in the silver suit.
Yeah.
You don't know who that is? That's me.
that's why I couldn't tell you, Commissioner.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're running these spots on Forgotten Coast TV, and some of the, this is a 60-second spot. We have yet to get a commercial payment by Yeti coolers, but I'm sure that'll come. And we're going to be doing a group of others dealing with the Bay. We wanted to try one for the kids, just to kind of get their attention when they're on the island and getting ready to go to the beach. You have my written report. There's nothing exciting in collections this month. We're 2% above last year. Our average is 11% over the year, increase over the year. And you know, the big swell comes this summer, and we're waiting to see what that all produces. But we're happy with the results we've got. I was going to introduce Chester Reese, who's one of our board members. He's the TDC representative on the Big Bend Scenic Byways Committee, and he was going to be here, but he got called away on something. And I talked with you a couple months ago about the fact that there was a problem with the Big Bend Scenic Byways kiosk that was going to be located in East Point. The state had the property that it was going to be located on, and they wanted to have it moved, and so we talked about putting it at the visitor center. Pam Portwood from the Byways came down a couple of times and met with us about the change in location, and we paced it off last month. In your packet, you have a couple of things. You've got the aerial that shows where the kiosk will be located. This is the Gulf Bay here, and this is our building, and there's an X on the spot that the board and Pam had decided to locate it on. You have the agreement, and which I guess is the same agreement they've used for all of the others. Michael's reviewed it, and it really is just designed to relocate the kiosk from the original site to the site at the visitor centers. And that was one of the action items I had for you this morning. If you approve the lease, and if you have any questions about it, Michael and I can probably help you with it.
You looked at the contract, Mr. Sheila?
Yes, ma'am. This is the same standard form contract that we went through very carefully probably a year or so ago when the original Big Bend Scenic Byway issue was brought up. So as far as I know, the only thing that has changed in this case is the location. But I did review the document. It appears to me to be the same document that you previously approved last year.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion that we approve the change in the contract.
Second. Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
The next item are the contracts for the sustaining grants. I brought the other contracts, visitor centers and vendors and things last month. These are our sustaining grants. You'll remember that this is a grant program, actually was initiated by the commission. It's a program where we fund a group of nonprofit organizations to help them stay open year-round, so that we've got something in those slow periods of the year that we try to attract people for. There are 7 organizations, and I've got you should have the contracts, and I've got the list of the organizations, and they all get funded at the rate of $20,000, and this is the same agreement that we've had with them in the past. The 7 organizations are the Dixie Theater, the Rainey House, the City of Apalachicola for the History, Arts, and Culture activities, the St. George Island Lighthouse, Carabel Lighthouse, Carabel History Museum, and the Camp Gordon Johnson Museum. So we would be asking your approval of those agreements today as well.
I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries.
And then I've included in your packet, just for your information, in today's meeting packet, excuse me, a list of the nonprofits that participate in our promotions grant program. We have, that's the program where we provide them $2,000 of assistance for marketing their events. They're all organizations that conduct events that around which we design a good deal of our promotional activities. And there are 19, I believe. We increased the number from 15 last year to 20 this year. And there we have 19 slots filled. We've got some room for someone else, another group, if one becomes available. So I just wanted to let you know this, that this was a list of nonprofits that we fund regularly throughout the year and around which we will be developing promotional activities. Mentioned the softball. I did want to bring to your attention that we had an episode a couple of weeks ago that allowed us to put in action a sort of an emergency response plan that we have in place in an effort to respond appropriately to issues that come up that we don't anticipate, that are not part of any of our promotional activities. In this particular case, there was a report in an Atlanta radio station from a meteorologist in Atlanta who had announced that there were certain types of bacteria showing up along the beaches in northwest Florida. And these were injurious bacteria. I won't get into the details of what he said they would do, but the point was that they would significantly impact, his report would significantly impact on the beach activity. We, as part of our policy, we looked at the announcement. We checked with our other partners. We sought a clarification from the Department of Health, which was a way to ensure that this was not the case. We were on our whole team, which included 2K Web Group, Bay Media, and Forgotten Coast TV, were on the phone consulting about the best response to this article. We checked with Visit Florida. We were successful, along with some of the other counties, to get them to get the station to issue a retraction in Atlanta. We had a press release all set to go out, and then we monitored our social media activities to see if there was any traction that was being gotten on this article. And after a review of that, we made the decision not to run the press release because there was relatively little that we saw in interest. It had a very short lifespan and very little traction. And rather than bring attention to the article, we made a decision not to run the press release. In other instances, if there were a good deal of traction and chatter about the report, we might take the opportunity to run, the press release. And we were ready to do that anyway, but we chose not to. We had gotten in touch with our visitor centers to give them an idea of how to respond to phone calls if they received them about this particular report. Our TDC board was aware all of this was going on as over the couple of days that it was a week or so ago. So we were very happy with the results. We had a plan. The plan's one that we can put into effect relatively quickly, and we think we responded appropriately to the information. And so I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Our next meeting is August 10th, and I guess we'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. If you don't have any questions, I'll be glad, if you do, I'll be glad to answer them.
Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
I'm signing these contracts too.
He's
Carl.
signing these, shipping
Okay.
through them just a
So
second.
you don't have to worry about coming back and trying to find me.
That'll be great.
Just give me a minute and I'll have them done for you.
Meet me next door, they'll make copies for the record.
Okay. Yeah.
And you guys set yours.
Mr. Deborah Belcher.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I gave you a written report and a couple of policy issues for your consideration. On the written report, I wanted to bring to your attention, there's an applicant that I would like to get your approval of, similar to what I did before, the first four we had. This one would be our fifth one, and it is Sheila Shiver, 686 Ridge Road. That would be a mobile home, probably replacement, and I would like to add her to the list of those that you're approving for me to proceed with. And then there's two houses that I have sort of at the top of my list, because you remember, we have to put $50,000 in non-CDBG leverage funds. That was part of the pledge to get the funds from CDBG. And the only way to do that is with houses, because you don't have any other grants that work on mobile homes. So there are two, Helen Hicks and Billy Gray are two. They're both elderly and live in houses that would be very feasible to rehabilitate. So I'm not asking for a specific approval of those now. I just want to make you aware that I think SHIP and/or the residential mitigation program will probably be able to do the roof on those, and then we could bring CDBG dollars in. And so everything that the other programs spend on the house goes toward our $50,000 of leverage. And then I'm choosing houses that don't need a whole lot of work done on them, so we can minimize how much we have to spend with CDBG dollars on these houses. Because if we choose houses that don't have a whole lot of money from CDBG, that just leaves more for the mobile homes. So these houses fit the bill on this. So I just want to make you aware I'm sort of proceeding with these two and coordinating with SHIP and emergency management. I don't know for sure that these will be the final ones, but that's where it's leaning as of now. And then gave you a procurement policy draft. That is something, we have to adopt a new policy. The federal regulations changed. It's what it's commonly referred to as a super circular. And your auditors, I'm sure, are very familiar with this. And so I wrote this policy. A lot of it is verbatim out of some of the federal regs, and I sort of gathered various sources, state statutes and CDBG regulations and OMB regulations, and came up with this. You might want to pay attention to, starting on the second page, under methods of procurement on the CDBG policy, that I left for your review, no action required today. But there are some dollar thresholds that you'll want to notice. Like I put for purchases in excess of $3,000 but less than $10,000, you could get oral or written quotes. And then above $10,000 but less than $25,000, you could get written quotes, and you may or may not advertise. And then anything over $25,000, you would advertise as formal bids. Those dollar thresholds, you can change. I'm just making you aware of those. I plugged in some that seemed reasonable, but if you want to lower those, you certainly can do that. So these are the kind of things for you to read through and let me know how you want to handle them, and we need to get those adopted at the August 2nd board meeting. And then the other issue on the Americans with Disabilities Act, your attorney might want to decide whether or not we need to perhaps post some notices, maybe on the website, and then refer to the notice and the policy. The U.S. Department of Justice implements this, and you don't like to mess with the U.S. Department of Justice. So I think the county is supposed to have a notification process in effect. So that's why I'm bringing that to your attention. A lot of these things overlap. There's ADA, there's Title VI, and then there's Section 504. And they all deal with disabilities. And to me, it's just sort of, I don't know, it's just a whole bunch of duplication and overlap. So you might want to just beef up and make up one notice that covers everything. I don't know the most appropriate way to handle that, but you definitely just want to make sure that at least on things that don't cost you a lot of money or any money, you're in compliance with. And the notification process is one of those that I recommend that you take a look at.